For decades, you have been lied to. Every single time you stood in line at a hardware store, shelling out your hard-earned retirement money for expensive, plastic-wrapped blister packs of batteries. Every time you swiped your credit card for an overpriced, fragile solar panel. Every time you dropped $500 on a heavy, clunky portable power station just to keep your phone alive or your emergency radio running when the grid inevitably fails. You have been feeding a beast that was designed to bleed you dry. I want you to pause right here and tell me in the comments, how much money do you think you've wasted on disposable batteries and fragile solar gear just in the last 5 years? Give me a dollar amount down below. Let's expose how much they're taking from us. Today, I'm going to expose a secret that the global energy conglomerates have desperately tried to keep buried. A forbidden technology that was permanently erased from your high school science textbooks. I'm talking about a method of generating real usable electricity that requires absolutely no fuel. No delicate solar panels that shatter in a hailstorm, no moving parts to break down, no lithium-ion cells that degrade and die just sitting in your garage. I am talking about generating infinite power from the very dirt beneath your feet. 2 cheap pieces of metal pushed into wet soil. That is all it takes to tap into an eternal grid. Now, I know what you're thinking. If this is so easy, why isn't everyone doing it? Why isn't this on the shelves at Home Depot or Cabela's? Listen to me very carefully. The multi-billion-dollar corporations didn't hide this from you because it doesn't work. They hid this from you because it works too perfectly. A method that turns the dirt in your backyard into a power source cannot be metered by a utility company. And what cannot be metered cannot be monetized. You are about to discover the oldest electrical generator in human history. This is the story of the Earth battery, and exactly how you can build one today for less than the cost of a cup of coffee. But to truly grasp the magnitude of this deception, we need to uncover the backstory they erased from our history books. Before the monopolistic corporations took over, before the grid made us entirely dependent on the government, brilliant minds had already solved the energy crisis. This isn't a new experimental theory. This technology is ancient. In 1938, archaeologists digging near the ancient city of Baghdad uncovered a small clay jar dating back to 250 BC. Inside this 2,000-year-old artifact was a copper cylinder suspending an iron rod. When scientists at General Electric filled a replica with common grape juice, it produced nearly 2 volts of electricity. The Baghdad battery proves that our ancestors understood how to pull power from the earth millennia before Thomas Edison was even born. The principles of physics haven't changed, only the greed of modern men has. Let's fast forward to the year 1841. A Scottish clockmaker and inventor named Alexander Bain is working in a dusty, dimly lit workshop in Edinburgh. He isn't a billionaire. He doesn't have the backing of Wall Street elites, but he makes a discovery that should have changed the world forever. Bain takes 2 different metal rods, one made of copper, one of zinc, and drives them deep into the damp, dark soil behind his shop. He connects a simple wire between them and attaches a meter. The needle doesn't just jump, it locks in. A steady, sustained, relentless current of electricity flows from the earth itself. Bain scales this up. By 1848, the United States federal government, yes, our own government, was using these exact earth batteries to power sections of the early American telegraph network across miles of rugged terrain. The system produced a steady current for months with zero maintenance. No coal, no steam, just dirt and metal. This wasn't fringe science, this was federal infrastructure. But the tragedy of this suppressed technology is best told through the life of a Kentucky farmer named Nathan Stubblefield. In 1892, Stubblefield took the earth battery to its absolute limits. He buried large metal coils in the moist Kentucky soil around his farm. On a freezing January morning, he invited prominent witnesses, handed them a receiver, and transmitted his voice wirelessly across the farm. No wires, no wall outlets, no massive power plant, just the raw, vibrating energy of the earth driving the entire system. Newspapers called it a miracle. So what happened? Why don't you know his name? Because the industrial elites of the time recognized the terrifying threat he posed to their new, highly profitable power grid. Despite flawless public demonstrations in Washington, D.C., the corporate titans blacklisted him. Investment capital was mysteriously blocked. He was harassed, discredited, and isolated. Nathan Stubblefield died in 1928, completely alone, penniless. In a shack on the very farm where he pulled free energy from the ground. His devices were destroyed, his patents expired. The industry killed the inventor to protect their monopoly. Tell me down in the comments, did your high school science teacher ever mention Nathan Stubblefield or the Baghdad battery? I bet they didn't. Let me know what they actually taught you, because the real history was completely scrubbed. Before I reveal the exact science behind how you can replicate this at home, I need to pause right here and look you dead in the eye. You and I both know how big tech and the corporate algorithms work. They despise videos like this. I am directly threatening the profit margins of some of the most powerful companies on the planet. There's a very real chance that this video could be shadow banned, age restricted, or completely deleted by tomorrow morning. They have armies of lawyers and automated bots designed to silence whistleblowers. So do not wait. Download this video to your hard drive right now. Email the link to your children, your old military buddies, and that neighbor you know you can trust when things go south. And if my channel suddenly disappears, you need to know where to find me. Down in the description below, I've placed a link to the Forbidden Vault. It contains the exact, unredacted blueprints for the Earth battery, along with over 10 classified survival manuals that the outdoor industry tried to wipe from existence. Zero-cost emergency shelters, military-grade fire techniques, and DIY water filters that outperform $300 commercial units. The link is down below. Secure your access now. Now, let's tear off the mask of this $150 billion battery cartel and look at the hard science and the conspiracy keeping it in the dark. The energy cartel has spent billions on marketing to brainwash you. They want you, especially those of us who have lived long enough to remember a more self-reliant America, to believe that electricity is a complex, dangerous magic that only they can provide. They want you terrified of the dark so you'll keep paying their extortionate rates. Here is the undeniable scientific truth that exposes their lie. The principle behind the Earth battery is called galvanic corrosion. It is a law of physics. When you place two dissimilar metals, like copper and zinc, into an electrolyte, electrons spontaneously flow from the more reactive metal to the less reactive one. Guess what acts as a perfect, natural, infinite electrolyte? The dirt in your backyard. Soil contains water, mineral salts, organic acids, and billions of microorganisms that create a massive, naturally occurring chemical soup perfectly designed to conduct ions. In 2017, a peer-reviewed study by researchers at the University of Wisconsin measured the sustained electrical current from soil-based galvanic cells. For 90 days, the cells produced continuous, steady power. The degradation over 3 whole months, less than 12%. Compare that to the expensive alkaline batteries you buy at the store, which can lose 20% of their charge just sitting unused in a kitchen drawer. The team at MIT even proved that similar soil-based microbial fuel cells can power remote agricultural sensors for over a year with absolutely zero maintenance. The science is rock solid. It is proven. It is irrefutable. So, follow the money. Why is this not in every survival kit, every Boy Scout manual, and every hardware store in America? Because the global portable battery industry generates over $150 billion in revenue every single year. They have built an empire on your dependence. The average American household is milked for over $150 a year, just on disposable batteries that leak and ruin your flashlights. When you want to go off-grid, they sell you fragile solar panels for $80 to $150 that become utterly useless the second the sun goes down or a cloud rolls in. They sell you bulky, 10-pound lithium power stations for $200 to $500 that eventually become expensive paperweights because they still require a wall outlet to recharge. It is an architecture of absolute financial enslavement. You cannot patent dirt. You cannot slap a trademark and a monthly subscription fee on the electrochemical series of the periodic table. You cannot build a $150 billion monopolistic empire around a technology that a 12-year-old can build in their backyard using spare pocket change and a few nails. The Earth battery represents everything the corporate elites fear. It is practically free. It is devastatingly simple. And most importantly, it places power completely outside of corporate control. So they didn't ban it. Banning it would make the news and cause people to ask questions. Instead, they did something far more sinister. They orchestrated a massive, quiet cover-up. They scrubbed the history books. They removed it from modern science curriculums. They made you forget. But today, we break their grip with a step-by-step guide to claiming your own grid. I'm going to teach you exactly how to build an Earth battery right now. This is the forbidden knowledge they tried to bury. Pay close attention. You only need 2 cheap materials, both widely available at any local hardware store. First, you need solid copper wire. 14 gauge works perfectly. Second, you need standard galvanized steel nails. Do not get regular steel nails. They must be galvanized. Why? Because the galvanization process coats the steel in zinc. Copper is your positive electrode, the cathode, and zinc is your negative electrode, the anode. Total cost for these materials? Under $5. First, take your wire cutters and cut the 14 gauge solid copper wire into strips about 6 inches long. Strip a little bit of the insulation off the top if it has any. Next, walk outside and find a patch of earth. You want moist, dark, mineral-rich soil. The forest floor, a garden bed, or near a creek is ideal. Stay away from dry, loose beach sand. The moisture is the key to activating the electrolyte. Then, push one of your 6-inch copper strips into the dirt. About 4 inches away from it, push in one of your 3-inch galvanized nails. Sink them at least 3 inches deep into the soil. Congratulations. You have just bypassed the grid. That single pairing is one complete cell. And depending on your soil, it is currently generating about 1 volt of free electricity. The secret to real power is linking them together. We are going to wire them in a series to multiply the voltage. Take a small piece of wire and connect the copper strip of cell 1 to the galvanized nail of cell 2. Then, run a wire from the copper of cell 2 to the galvanized nail of cell 3. Every time you add a cell, the voltage stacks. 10 cells will give you a steady 10 to 11 volts. Push it to 15 cells, and you will easily cross the 12-volt threshold. What can you do with 12 volts of earth power? You can add a cheap $2 USB voltage regulator from Amazon, and you now have a permanent off-grid smartphone charger. You can run emergency LED camp lights all night long. You can power a survival radio to listen to broadcasts when the rest of the country goes dark. If you are planning to test this out in your own backyard this weekend, I want you to go to the comments right now and type the words, "I'm building it." Let's show the algorithm how many real, self-reliant action takers are watching this. I need to shoot straight with you about its limits. This isn't going to run your refrigerator or power a massive space heater. It produces low current, and over a few weeks, the zinc on the nails will naturally corrode and need to be replaced. And yes, if there's a severe drought, you might need to pour a bucket of water over the soil to keep the reaction going. But think about the reality of a crisis. When the winter storms hit Texas, when the hurricanes wipe out the Florida grid, your $150 solar panel is useless in the dark, and your Duracells are dead in 3 hours. But the Earth battery? It works at 2 a.m. It works under heavy tree cover. It weighs practically nothing in a bug-out bag. The fuel source is the entire surface of the planet Earth. But let's take this one step further. Let's talk about the ultimate threat. The scenario the mainstream media mocks, but the Department of Defense spends billions quietly preparing for. I'm talking about a total catastrophic grid failure. Whether it is a targeted cyber attack by a foreign adversary, a Carrington-level solar flare, or a high-altitude EMP, an electromagnetic pulse, when the grid goes down for good, it won't be a temporary inconvenience. It will be a dark age. The transformers will blow, the substations will be permanently bricked. Within 3 days, the grocery store shelves will be stripped bare, and the panic will set in. In that terrifying new reality, your expensive modern technology will betray you. Your gas generator will become a useless hunk of metal the second you run out of fuel, and you won't be able to pump more. Your high-tech lithium-ion power stations are packed with sensitive microprocessors. An EMP will fry their delicate circuits in a microsecond, turning your $500 investment into a toxic paperweight. But the Earth battery? The Earth battery is entirely EMP-proof. There are no microchips in a galvanized nail. There is no motherboard in a strip of solid copper. It is pure, raw, elemental power. It operates entirely outside the digital matrix. While your neighbors are plunging into the dark ages, panicking over their dead devices, your analog, dirt-powered grid will just keep silently pushing voltage. It survives the blast. It survives the collapse. Because you have stayed with me this long, and because I know you are serious about your survival, I'm going to share a piece of advanced, classified knowledge. This is the secret to supercharging your Earth battery array. And it is something the corporate algorithms constantly try to censor. If you want to maximize your voltage and significantly boost your amperage, you need to alter the local soil chemistry, and it is completely free. Take the cold wood ash from your campfire or your fireplace and stir it deeply into the dirt around your copper and zinc electrodes. The potassium and trace minerals in the ash will cause the soil's ionic conductivity to absolutely skyrocket. Next, mix in a handful of wet compost, decaying leaves, or pine needles. As those organic materials break down, the natural bacteria release humic and fulvic acids. These acids act like a chemical turbocharger for the galvanic corrosion process. By doing this, you aren't just planting metal in the ground, you're engineering a high-octane biological power plant right in your backyard. Do you understand now why certain states and local governments are quietly passing ordinances making it illegal to disconnect from the grid? They mask it under the guise of zoning laws and public safety. Do not be fooled. It is about absolute control. They are terrified of mass non-compliance. They are forcing smart meters onto your homes to monitor every single watt you consume, giving them the power to cut you off the second you violate one of their arbitrary mandates or rolling blackouts. The Earth battery is your silent rebellion. It emits no thermal heat signature. It makes no noise. No government drone flying overhead can detect a network of copper wire buried under a pile of autumn leaves. It is the ultimate stealth survival tool. Now that you hold this forbidden power, it is time to act. For over 2,000 years, humanity has possessed the knowledge to pull electricity from wet earth. A fundamental law of physics was stolen from you, locked away by greedy executives in corner offices who view you as nothing more than a walking ATM machine. They think we're too old, too tired, and too domesticated to fight back. They think we will just blindly keep swiping our credit cards, remaining dependent on their fragile grid until the day we die. It is time to prove them wrong. It is time to unplug from their matrix of lies. Your mission today is not just to watch this video. Your mission is to take action. I need you to smash that share button right now. Post this video on your Facebook page. Email the link to your family members. Send it to anyone who values their freedom and independence. Every single share is a sledgehammer to the wall of lies these corporations have built. And finally, hit the subscribe button and ring that notification bell. By joining this channel, you are helping to build an impenetrable fortress around this suppressed knowledge. They want us to forget. But together, we're going to make damn sure that the world remembers. Before you click off, drop a comment below and let me know. What state or country are you tuning in from? And what is your #1 priority for surviving what's coming? Let's connect down there. Get your hands dirty, unplug from the system, and I will see you in the next fight.